how will we know when to start?
Hi. Hi. Welcome to the coaching game. Terry wanted to know, how will we know when we start? We are starting.
Okay. Welcome to Coaches Creating Change.
Yes, yes. Welcome.
Again.
This is going to be our fourth. I know. And the core competency that we're dealing with today is the one that I think is so obvious and yet so difficult, I think,
elusive.
to do. Exactly.
So
That's a good,
elusive.
obvious and elusive.
Yes.
And that is coaching presence, which you think, what's the problem? You're the coach, you're there, it'll be a presence.
Yeah,
but
not the case.
No. And what Terry and I are trying to do is match the core competencies to the marvelous points of view cards. And what we came up with was a together card. And I think that'll make a little bit more sense once we start talking. But that was the one we said, you know what, I think this is the one that's going to get the message across. Yeah. So what we want to talk about is, how do you show up as a coach? And not even really how do you show up as a coach, but how do you show up, I think, in life.
In
too,
life,
right?
absolutely. So just to reiterate, our first one was journey.
Right.
The second was establishing the agreement. Last episode was
Terry's favorite.
Co-creating the relationship, starting with trust and intimacy, creating trust and intimacy in a relationship. And now we're on to the second part of co-creating the relationship, called coaching presence. And I'm going to read.
Sure.
So we set the stage.
Okay. So we get it right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So being fully conscious and creating spontaneous relationship with clients, employing a style that is open and confident.
Okay. And you want to talk about what ICF feels this is all about?
Yeah, they've got several.
They have 8 markers actually, right. and what we're saying, markers are how you can tell if indeed coaching presence has taken place. And they've got 8 different categories within coaching presence. Right. The first one, you want to take that?
Sure. Coach acts in response to both the whole person of the client and what the client wants to accomplish in the session.
What I think that means is, it's like, okay, if your client comes to you and says, my goal is to lose weight. Okay, you're all going to have those clients, believe me. And so, and you're coaching and you stay focused on the goal, but you don't really concentrate on what the person's saying. And the person as a whole who says, I've done this 100 times and I can't. Mm-hmm. So I think you have to respond to the person. And she could also be saying, oh, and plus my mother's sick in the hospital and my dog died. You know, and you have to. Right. You have to consider all that, right?
Right. So it's looking at, they come with perhaps one specific thing, which is losing weight. Well, when you start to really unravel the whole concept, it's a lot more than that. And, and it's what we look at as the small agenda. It gets you through the door, but it's not the big agenda of the whole person. What are they really saying here? Is it the losing weight, or the struggles they have and the challenges they have, and what's the losing weight about, and what's it going to do for them?
Right.
So I think
I agree.
That's exactly what we're
because
talking
what
about.
you could easily do is go, okay, well, let's talk about your eating habits and let's talk about your exercise. And but that's really not responding to the person as a whole person. And I think you need to find out what's going on with the person. I look at it like when my clients come to me and say, that my problem is, in my head I go, that's your symptom. What's the source?
Right.
Let's go for the source and see. You're giving me a symptom, and that's great. That's how we start figuring out what's going on.
Right.
But really, in order to get to the source, you've got to know the whole person.
Exactly. And everyone could come with one little thing, and it's not focusing on that one thing. It's focusing on who this person is and what their challenge is with that one thing.
Right.
And where else that shows up in their life.
And then that's the fun part, kind of. It's like we're looking for, okay, well, where else does this show up? And they may not be aware of that. And then those are the aha moments.
Right.
It's like, oh, I do that all the time. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So the next one is coach is observant, empathetic, and responsive. And I'll let you go first.
No, that's quite all right.
Well, I'm thinking
Please
that,
share.
yeah, that's true, because we're partners and we're doing coaching presents, yes. I'm thinking that if someone says, well, certainly if your client starts crying, then I think you need to respond to that. It's not like you just, it may be that you're going to let them do that in silence, but you want to respond to that. Or if they go, yeah, with a big sigh, you got to check that out. It's like, what's that sigh?
Yeah,
What's that hesitancy
It's
for, right?
Right, and that's where coaching presence comes in.
Exactly.
That it's about being with the client. I think we get to the next whole group in our next couple of core competencies, but it's really emptying the mind and being with this person and not thinking about my grocery list or what appointments I have.
Oh, look at that email that just came in.
You're right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
it's like just being being so totally aware.
Right.
You're
and
really
picking
there.
up.
Yes.
What the sigh is or what the crying is, and allowing them the space to even do all that, and giving them a moment or two.
That's kind of your job as a coach, to provide a safe environment where they can really kind of bang around and do what they need to do in order to get to peel the onion, as we like to say, to get a little deeper on that. So the third one.
We're going to go through all of them?
Yeah, I think we should.
Perfect.
I like it.
Okay, perfect.
And then we'll talk about our own stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Coach notices and explores energy shifts in the client, which I think we just in a way covered.
Yeah, definitely. If someone comes in and goes, I got to start losing weight, and then when they start talking, it's like, well, I really do kind of like to, and you can hear the voice lift,
Right.
Or you can hear, a little bit more enthusiasm. Then you notice, and you need to go, well, where'd that come from?
Right.
What's making you, what's motivating you right now?
Exactly, because I know I coach by phone.
Yeah,
and most coaches do. So you have to, be able to pick up on the nuances and really listen to the voice. And sometimes it's resonating and sometimes it's in dissonance.
Yeah.
And being able to, again, see what this is and what are they raising their voice and, that resonance, and where are they going low, and what's there for them.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. And what's happening during the whole process, because you're trying to make things happen for this client. So, yeah. Another one is coach exhibits curiosity with the intent to learn more. And I think the intent to learn more is important. It's like, why are you asking that question? And what are you going to do with the information once you get it? Because I've had people ask me questions and then they just go off on another subject and I say, well, why'd you ask me? So what's your intention? And also, the curiosity. I don't think there's a better word for a coach than be curious.
It's actually one of the cornerstones.
Yeah, definitely.
CTI is.
Oh, is it curiosity? Yeah.
Being curious. Always, wonder what that's about. And sometimes in the coaching, there are many paths one can take. As a coach, we could pick up on one, and then there could have been 2 or 3 others.
Yes.
But you can't do all of them. So you have to be willing to see where it goes and be in the dance, if you will, with your client, and dance with them and where they go, because it's their agenda, it's not ours.
Well, yeah, and a lot of times when you hear, we'll just keep using, I want to lose weight, and you'll say, okay, well, at the end of this session, I want her to have a whole plan and blah, blah, blah. That may be not what she wants, though.
Exactly.
So you've got to gear it to it. Let me ask you if you have this problem, though, because I was raised down south.
I have a lot of problems.
Well, okay, go ahead. I was raised down south where it was like, mind your business, don't ask that. I have trouble being curious. Do you have that trouble? I don't think you do. You're very outspoken.
I have been told that, forget with clients, but in general, when I, meet people, I'm very curious, and sometimes it's offensive to people.
And that's how I was taught. That's not your business.
And it's not about, it's just getting to know somebody.
Right.
You're so trained, and because I coach on the phone, a little side note, I sit with a pen and a paper, and I listen and I write, and sometimes if I see a thread, I make note of that, and then I might come back and say, so what I've heard is blah, 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 and it sounds like there could be blah, blah, blah. What are your thoughts about that?
Good.
Try and pull the thread, because clients don't always know. They don't listen to themselves. They really don't.
Well, yeah, and there are also like beliefs and assumptions. It's like, well, okay, this is how it is.
Right.
And you keep going, well, but maybe not.
Right.
I just hear you saying that, but is that really how it is?
Exactly.
So yeah, they're into a pattern of what
of course.
they
will, and it doesn't matter. They'll do that pattern with you, and that's the whole key of coaching.
And listening,
is being able to help them. If something comes up, I might say, so where else has this shown up in your life?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, everywhere.
Exactly.
Oh,
it happens all the time. I don't know what's wrong with everybody. Yeah. Then you have to kind of direct it inward. Yes. Okay.
Where are we?
We are on the fifth marker already. Yeah.
Wow. Coach partners, which I love, with the client by inviting the client to respond in any way to the coach's contributions and accepts the client's response. So it's about partnership.
Yeah,
and together.
Exactly, and that's why we chose the together card, because it's like, okay, I mean, you can...
Myriad ways to look at that.
Yes, absolutely, and it's like, okay, we're going to work together to solve this problem. Here it's people under umbrellas sharing and getting through the rain together.
And separately.
Yes.
So we'll get to that.
Yeah, definitely. But ICF has become very... aware of partnering, and it's like, and that's really what, it's not your session, it's not the client's session, it's together, it is the two of you having this session, and you've got to be a partner to the person.
Right, and I've been using that forever. I always say we partner to help you get to where you want to go.
Good for you. I just started using it when,
really?
when they
I've
got
been
really
using it
crazy
for a
about it.
long time.
Yeah.
And I always say, you do the work. I'm really the facilitator here. So whatever you do, they'll say, thank you, thank you. And I say, I really didn't do it. It was you.
Yeah.
That made the changes or looked at things that, will help you move along in life.
Right. And what this is, it's like, okay, you're partnering with the client, but you're inviting the client to just respond to whatever you're saying, whatever question, without you don't care what they say, you just want to hear what they say, but you don't care where it goes, because you're willing to go with the client, so you're partnering.
Right.
And the one before that I wanted Terry to read, but she skipped, was
which one?
Coach partners with the client by supporting the client to choose what happens in the session.
Oh, okay, I missed that.
That's okay.
Okay.
And that, I think, is brilliant, because sometimes when you're coaching, you'll hear about, like Terry said, there's a myriad of things going on, and it's like, oh, which way should I go? What ICF is saying is, well, ask the client. It's saying, I hear that you want to lose weight, but I also hear that you have trouble sticking to a plan. Which way do you want to work? What do you want to work on first, And letting them decide. It takes the burden off us, which I love.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay. We're up to 4-7?
7 now. Yeah.
Okay. Coach partners, again, partners, with the client by playing back the client's expressed possibilities for the client to choose from, which is exactly what we were talking about.
Or if the client's trying to make a decision, then put the options on the table and go, here are your options, which one, or...
And looking at the options and saying, okay, there's this. What does this mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? And, one of the things I do a lot is, so here's, this is what I hear. here are some insights that I might have. And if they land, great. If not, throw them away.
Exactly. Yeah. What do you think about what I just said?
Right,
If you don't agree,
right,
that's cool.
because you can't, you know, or my hunch, or my insights.
Yeah.
So coaching isn't about giving advice, although sometimes there's a borderline between
It's
that.
hard. But you know what I'm finding is, and I think that's what speaks to this. It's like it's okay to make an observation or a gut instinct, and it's just you can ask permission. Do you mind if I make an observation?
Right.
And then the important thing is not to be tied to the answer. It's like,
Exactly.
I hope they say this because then I know the next question, which we do a lot.
Well,
but it's like
that's why.
What that's why you say, what do you think about that?
If it lands, great. If it doesn't, I'm okay.
Exactly.
I'm not attached to it.
Then we'll go, and what it really does is help you decide, well, okay, well, that's not where I should go then. I was thinking this is the area we should go. So the last one is coach partners with the client by encouraging the client to formulate their own learning. And that's where the dance really comes in, because you can make an observation, but let the client learn from it, you know, or can the client learn from it, you know. That's the hard
so
one.
you're opening up possibly another door.
Yes.
Or, you know, another, or having them look at maybe another belief or assumption and letting them choose. Because all of us, you know, we go along and we all have, whether we're conscious of it or we're not, our own set of stories, I call them, that we use to rationalize what we do.
Yes.
And sometimes those stories don't serve us anymore. So
But we keep using them.
That's right.
Until somebody points it out.
Exactly. And it's helping clients look at these assumptions, these beliefs, these stories that they've living with to see if they serve them in life, because if they're coming to coaching and they're stuck, obviously they don't.
Obviously, something's not working.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
that's kind of the coaching presence, and it's like, and I think not only would it do well to remember that, you know, in coaching situations, but also in life itself. You know, it's how many times do you start a conversation and it's all about you, and here's where you want it to go, and it's like you have to. It's a together thing. Yeah.
I was going to actually pick up on that, because as I thought about the episodes that we've done. You know, we talk about coaching and clients, but everything from establishing an agreement to co-creating a relationship, whether it's how to build trust or intimacy, and then coaching presence. This is about anyone in life, and business people and leaders. All of these are so important in being a good leader, because having all of these tools helps you in how you manage and what you create in your organization and the teams you work with, and also in any other form of business that you're in, as well as personally.
Right.
So I wanted to kind of make that point.
Definitely. And the lovely points of view. Each card has a story and quotes. And there's a story, and I'm not going to read it to you because I hate when people read to me. But it's about two gentlemen. One was blind and one was paralyzed. And they both lived on top of a mountain, and they both hated their lives, and they prayed to heaven men. And one day they kind of got together. And they told each other their stories, and they complained and they moaned. And then one of them decided, you know what, maybe together we can do this. I'm blind, so you can be my eyes, but I have legs, so I'll carry you on my back. And together, look how far we can go. By themselves, no. And that's an Indian folklore story, I think, or something, but I think it's a beautiful story. It's like, how can you put somebody on your back or get on somebody's back, however that is, to help you get further. And I think you're right, with business, if only leaders and managers would realize that, you know, they're all in this together, and it's so much better if you can have a team that's going to work together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even in family relationships.
Yes, so
you know,
the hardest one of all.
Right,
Yep.
Exactly. If people, you know, were present, because so often, family or even going to a networking event, You go to a
Right.
networking event and
Too
you talk
uncomfortable.
to people. It is, but you watch people, you're talking to them and they're looking.
Who else can I talk to? Yeah,
Exactly, and
yeah.
they're never present. They're never present because they're too busy looking around, even if it's for 2 minutes, to be courteous and
Yeah.
be present. You never know what you're going to discover by being present, again, in life, in professional.
You know, and it's interesting, a philosophical question I think I have that I have all the time. It's like, I wonder, is this presence, this being in the present and being present, I wonder if that's a dying art with all the technology, with everyone into their phones, everyone. I am just amazed at where phones show up. People just can't do anything without the phone in front of them. And eye-to-eye contact is a dying art. I know it is. It's like
Personal contact is
Yeah,
definitely,
yeah.
especially amongst the millennials and the Gen Zs,
Yeah.
who they rely on communicating through texting or whatever other form that's very short. And I don't know how they are in the world. I know millennials are what they are. I mean, I'm not generalizing here.
No, but that's how they grew up. That they grew up
Exactly.
with in front of a screen or in front of a television, and now everybody with a phone, and you can
Right.
justify by saying it's an emergency tool. But
No, it's not an emergency tool if they're using it on a regular
yeah,
basis.
no, it's
Right.
or walking with it, or a friend of ours, Bernie, who is also used to be an ICF president of ICF New York, said he was skiing and he saw some kid on a snowboard with his phone out. He said, "I didn't even know you could do that." And
Probably you
it's like,
couldn't.
what is the point? Why are you going snowboarding if you're going to be looking at your
It's
phone?
an appendage. To
Yes.
me, what I say is we all have an addiction. It's a real addiction, and the
Yeah.
addiction is to our phones, our texting, our whatever. But we all are addicted to this form of communication. You walk in the street and everyone is talking and nobody's present.
Restaurants. You go to a restaurant to
Uh-huh.
eat and you look at your phone. It's like,
I know.
I don't get that.
Yes, presence is, as coaches, we have to be in life. There are so many distractions
Yeah.
that I really wonder about it. And I have a few quotes. And
She loves quotes.
I love them. One is, "The most precious gift we can offer others is our presence," by Thich Nhat Hanh, and he was a Zen Master and a Buddhist monk. And I think that is just so true. That's a gift that when you stand there being present, people are being heard and seen. And
Yeah.
most in life, and that's, what presence is. So someone is really seen and heard on many levels. But, if your mind is 20 miles away and you're trying to interact and you're on your phone, or you're not being present, and you're cheating somebody.
Yeah. You know what I'm thinking as you're saying that? It's like, because my go-to is either email or text to get something done. But I really think I'm going to try just one a day. That's all. I'm not going to get crazy. One a day. I'm going to substitute email and texting with a phone call.
Oh.
I challenge y'all to do that too. It's like just one
yeah.
a day, because it just to make some physical contact. Now, it
Right.
may not be with a doctor's office. That's no
Right.
fun. But with somebody that you were just going to text, I'm going to. Because, I'm guilty.
We all are.
I'm not guilty of, I try to ignore my phone as much as I can, but I'm not guilty. I mean, I am guilty of, my go-to is, let me get it in writing, and
Right.
that's it, it's done.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my goal for this
Oh,
week.
wow.
I'm going to give it a
Excellent.
try. Yeah,
Good for
yeah.
you. I send cards.
Oh, what
I
a
send
dying art. And
birthday
who
cards
doesn't
and
love
other
getting
cards
something in the
when
mail?
I really want to
Yeah.
get a message across.
Yeah.
I still think it's wonderful to receive that rather than an email. Oh, happy birthday, or a text. Happy
Sometimes
birthday.
I don't even open them because I don't trust them. It could be a virus. I was like, yeah, thank
know.
you.
I
But
know.
yeah, that's true. Think of that when you go to your mailbox and there's a cool card with actual handwriting on it. It's like, oh, all right. So yeah, that's what we're talking about, presence. Even though that's not in-person presence.
Right.
It's like you
No,
did take the
but-
time
right,
to think
but
about the
it's
person. Yeah,
They're present when they read it.
exactly. Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
speaking about coaching, Marsha Reynolds, who is very well known in the coaching world, she's an author, she's an MCC coach. I think she's written some really good books. One of her quotes is, "Mastery is the deepening of presence, not the perfection of skills." So as coaches, having the skills, of course, you need, but being present
It's
is
even
what's
more important.
mastery, because
Yeah.
then you know what to do, kind of coming to the coaching or to life with almost an empty vessel, which is very hard to do in life. You know, you always have a judgment about someone, or you
Yeah.
always have a thought about someone or an opinion about someone. But if you could come seeing this person with an empty mind, if you will, you
Not
may
totally
learn-
empty, but
well, empty enough that you don't have
an
all
open
the
mind.
chatter go
Open mind, yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Going on, you may learn something about someone.
Absolutely. And let me use a few coaching terms but in reality, your clients or your personal people are not going to know if you asked a closed-ended question. That means nothing to them. They're not
Right.
going to know if you stacked your questions.
Right.
They're not going to, but they are going to know if you're really listening. If,
Right.
like you, Terry says, you're over here and you're over there, they're going to know you're
Of
not
course,
interested.
of course.
So the presence, I agree with Marsha 100%.
It's,
It's like, yeah, that's got to be the skill that you're really looking for, the
Exactly.
mastery of
Exactly.
just being there. And it sounds easy, but it's not.
No,
it's
it's
not.
not.
You just have to practice. I'm gonna do that.
And I have one more quote.
Okay, let's go.
This is great. And it's another truism. I stopped trying to be perfect when I realized it's enough to be present. And that was by Curtis Tyrone Jones. So we all are looking to be perfect, that we have the perfect words and the perfect this. How are we going to come across? Are we going to sound smart? Are we going to be right?
I
don't
can't
wanna
do this
be wrong.
until
right.
then, all that.
Instead of just trusting your own being and being present, because when you're present, you know what to say.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, and so I'm thinking, Terry, we'll have a little fight later. Terry thinks trust and intimacy is important, but I think presence is important.
I agree,
I think
too.
they're all important.
They're all
actually.
important.
Yeah.
And I do think these two are extremely important.
Yeah, I think they go
in the
hand
whole
in hand,
thing.
truthfully, yeah. All right, we're
Well,
out of
we're
time.
out of time.
I want to
Wow,
thank
this
you
was-
again. This was
great.
fun. Yeah,
And,
definitely.
Tune in for our next one.
Our next one will
Coaches
be
Creating Change.
Yes, and we'll be doing some active listening. I don't know how because we like to talk a
I
lot, but
know.
we'll figure it out.
Right.
We'll listen to one another.
Exactly.
Thank you,
Oh,
Terry.
thank
again,
you,
I wouldn't want to
Laurie.
be creating change with anybody else.
Thank you. Same here.
Thank you.
Thank you.